I'm wondering what were the challenges of creating a concept album in terms of, well, writing and making everything coherent. So you told us that you didn't do writing the most part, but I mean like everything. How did you get everything so coherent?
Matt,
Well, Will did most of the writing. To be 100% honest with you, 95% of all riffs on that album is 100% William. You see, we got very lucky as a band. We got someone with so much fucking heart, as Will does, that if Will has a slight idea in his head of what a riff could be, he will sit down for hours and write everything. Could have an entire album written in a weekend, like. So we're just lucky with Will.
yeah, the way that I usually depends what I'm doing, what's if I have the guitar, yeah. So if I come up with a riff, and we're not writing a song, we're not in that we have to write a song. If I come up with a riff, I record myself playing the riff, and I just square away and just leave it there. When we were about, just like, okay, we have to record. We're going to record the album. Have to create the tracks, work on the tracks. I went through all my files, like, okay, cool guys, I have probably 5 songs. Not as it's not a rock solid. I come up with the idea, then we start grooving, playing, deciding, oh, that's not gonna work. It's not gonna work there, or maybe it's gonna work towards the end. So we start jamming with my idea, and then I don't know. We take a while to actually get a track done, proper done. We as soon as we start creating, we start playing as more comfortable we get with the structure that we're creating. We start kind of tweaking things there. Oh, I want to change that. Then Carl was like, I want to do this in the drums. Sometimes he's like, I'm not going to be able to do it now, but I'm going to practice and then I'm going to do it now and then do it. Then he practices and then we try, see if it's going to work. In Marco, he only writes the lyrics after the structure of the track is done. So when he has the structure, he's like, cool. Now he knows that he can write, and I think the way that he approaches, it's probably is how he feels the track is, and then what he wants to talk about based on what he's feeling when he's listening just to the structure. That's how he treated, and was hard to decide the sequence of the album, the track lists. It's hard to decide singles. Was very hard to decide which one's going to would be the singles. Yeah, but for us it worked out well. We liked the result. We loved the and one thing you're practicing. We did a lot of pre-production where in the place that we used to practice. But when we started recording and started listening, she was like, "Wow, that's actually sound nice." Because when you start getting that everything mixed proper level, and I was like, I was just like, oh, that actually sounds nice. Yeah, because we have like when we creating, you're playing, you have an idea how it's gonna sound. Like, oh, yeah, it sounds nice. But when you have, like for instance, when you listen to the entire drums, kicks, toms, snare, each cymbals in the mixing, it was like, oh yeah, this actually sounds nice. I didn't realize that it was that way, because when you practice a few things you don't know, and it's just folks playing. Now you just when you sit back and listen to it, it's like, oh yeah.
That, and we got very lucky with our engineer Josh up in JSOurce is just phenomenal. He's an absolute master of his craft. So being able to work with him, especially with the album, he was the type of engineer where if he heard something was just a little bit off, he would turn around and look at us and say, okay, add a extra note here, or remove that note, or do it an octave higher or an octave lower, So he kind of helped fill out the sound as well as just hit the record button.
Yeah. And he was open to try something like in Nighthag, the Nighthag. That at the end, I was like, I want to record an octave high on that, and he was like, I don't think that's gonna sound nice. I was like, let's try. And then he tries like, he actually sounds nice. I was like, yeah, it's just an octave.
That's amazing that someone just looks at the small details. And as you have mentioned it, William, it was a challenge to put everything into sequences and decide which track go first. So how did you make the choice to put everything track by track like it is now?
We had an argument.
Psychosis is the first one, the album. It's a fast track, and I can't remember if it was me, but I remember who brought the idea to have Psychosis as the first one. Like, it's a fast track, it's a straight punch. That's how we're gonna open. That's how we should. That's how we should open the album. People's gonna listen like, "Whoa, that's," and it's straight in. We have an intro. It's Marco growling, and then the verse starts with that, and it's straight. There's no messing around. And then when we decided, we already knew kind of which singles we're gonna release, so we kind of split the singles apart in the album. And then we had Silent Disease, the second one. We decided it's going to be one single on the second, one single on the fifth, another single on the eighth of the album. Because when people would listen, if someone's going to listen to the album and had listened to the singles, I know the song. He would listen what is between the singles. Instead of putting all the singles together or all the singles at the beginning of the album, we thought that way would work better. Then was trying to keep kind of the dynamic, like,
and we knew
we have a fast track at the beginning. We go with another one with a groove, a bit slower, but very groove and catchy riffs. Yeah. Then we go back to another fast, which is Bury Me. And then we keep on that pace, Bury Me. Then we go to Obsession. It keeps coming almost the same BPM. It's a bit slower than Bury Me, but it's nearly there. Then we drop again to Sound of the Unknown. So we have that kind of dynamic in the album. That's what's kind of the idea to have. And we already kind of knew that the Night Hag would be the last one because it would have tied up all the lyrics.
And that Coward's 9 would be 9.
And Coward's 9 would be the 9.
It's in the name. 9 is in the name. You gotta use it.
And so basically the first song was a wake-up call, so everyone would hear the song and be awake for the next of the tracks.
Yeah, it's a straight in. It's a short, probably 30 to 40 seconds intro. Sound effects, which was taken from the sound effects in Night Hag. So that's what's the idea. It kind of ties the whole album together. It's the same. It was taken from there, a few elements there, not all. And then we start Psychosis. And then we go to the last track. The same things are in there, and that's Night Hag. So we gotta have a circle closing up and tied up the 11 tracks.
Good story. So guys, can you tell me about how do you find the Irish scene these days? Not these days, but I'm pre-COVID or what do you think?
I love
Irish
a lot of the
metal
Irish scene. The Irish metal scene. I love the bands, but a lot of the bands I don't think give themselves enough credit.
Do you think something is missing?
I do. I kind of think, within the Irish metal scene, you've got the Limerick and Cork scene, you've got the Dublin scene, you've got the Belfast scene, and I'm not too sure about much West Coast. Like, I know you've got the likes of is it Psychosis? They're from Galway? No, who am I thinking of that's from Galway? Or Sligo?
I can't remember.
Are they from Laos?
No,
Psychosis? I can't
no, it's not Psycho. Who is it? It'll come to me right before
No,
I go to bed.
no. 10 Ton Slug is from there.
Thank you, 10 Ton Slug.
Yeah.
So the whole Irish metal scene, it seems to be quite almost fractured. Kind of the Belfast scene, stick with the Belfast scene, Cork, but they seem to be a little fractured. Kind of none of them really mesh really with each other. Like, luckily enough, you've got Neon Empire heading up north to play in Belfast, which will be a fantastic gig. But every Irish band seems to stick themselves on like a €5 entry level or a €10 entry level, without realizing that they're a hell of a lot better than they give themselves credit for.
And they are stuck in Fevers forever, Fevers. And I'm like, go outside, go see the world. And they are, no, we are grand in Ireland. And I'm like, come on, guys.
I don't
like.
I don't blame them. Like, I don't know.
Not at all.
It's
Depends the situation.
Let him explain how we see the Resendread. So the Resendread for us is a company that we have to sell the music, and in order for us to play, if we play, let's say next Saturday we play in Fevers, a lot of people might come in to see us playing Fevers that Saturday, but even a month time if we play Fevers again, no one's going to show up because they already saw us. And for us as a target, so because we think as the Resendread as a company, we have targets, we have planning what we're going to do and what we're going to do, how much money we can invest to do a few things that would get us further. That's like, and it is an investment. You might not get a return, but at least I'm not looking to get any reach. I'm just saying, just want to play. But for me, if when we start the band, when I met Colin, we had the same idea. But like I was 33 years old, I think 34, and I was like, I'm not gonna leave my house to have a band. I'm gonna end up playing in Dublin every weekend. That's not gonna work for me. Like, for me, it is a hobby, but I'm putting a lot of money and time to it. That I want to make things happen, and that's how Colin felt as well, and Marco feels the same. So the whole band, we're not a band that we started from. Oh, we are back in college. We're mates, and we had a friendship. No, we didn't have a friendship. We didn't know each other.
No, I had to fucking audition.
And we know, but we knew what we want to try to achieve. Is it gonna achieve or not? I don't know, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of planning things. Oh, we want to try to do this. It's going to work for everyone. It's not going to work for everyone. Because everyone has a job. Everyone in the band has a job. Like, in order for us to go on a tour, we have to take days off. We're taking days off to do the tour in March. We're taking days off. We have another 16 dates to announce all across Europe in the UK. None of them are in Ireland. Because we want to get out there.
It's like
and
how
try.
That's how Dutch bands actually work. So I was surprised looking at the Irish metal scene, and I was like, Fevers only?
Because there's one thing that I was talking to my friends, my wife, and I was like, there's a difference between metal fans and any other kind of fans. We can put a lot of money into social media, do ads. But a metal fan, they need to see you playing live. They need to see you there and then feel that energy you're on stage. That's how you get fans. That's how you get people to follow you, and create a fan base. If you don't do that, you're not going anywhere.
No, metalheads, they need an emotional,
and for me
connection.
And for me at this stage that I have a family, I need to do something that is cheaper. Otherwise, I'd rather stay home with my family.
Yeah.
That's how we approach as a business side.
All
because let's say we're in a band, we're gonna play Fevers, whatever amount of Fevers, because it's Dublin is probably the only one that has metal gigs. But we're gonna play Fevers every so often. And it's like, oh, that's just my hobby. It's a hobby for you, but for
Yes.
Fevers, it's a business. And at the end of the day, it's a business. It's a music
Yeah.
business. It's industry in there. You're playing there. Like when I was 17 years old, I was playing a band. We used to play and making, not even getting paid anything, not even to cover nothing. Just we go there, play. You're like paying. It's basically paying to play. And
Yeah.
and going anywhere, just there. Now that I'm older and now that I have a bit of experience, we want to approach it a different way. It's gonna work. We don't know, but we have to try.
Yeah.
That's how we got to open for Vader and Marduk, was getting in the networking, talking to people. Guys like, oh, that's my band. We are doing this. We're doing that. Yeah, and then it came the invite. Look, you guys want to do it? Do you want to slot in? That's gonna.
Have the slot to playing with Vader and Marduk.
Yeah.
Will did that. Will by himself did that. Like, I always have an analogy with the band that Will is the brains behind everything. He is the riff, he's behind the scenes, he's everything. Cullum is the heart, because he's just pure passion with it. Marco's the face, you know, he's tall, he's dark, he's handsome. And then I'm the appendix. I'm the appendix.
Agreeing there.
Yeah.
Mix of everything.
Yeah, I can, you know, you can live with me, you can live without me. You'll be perfectly fine.
That's one thing that I is my personality. I cannot be in something that's I'm 50% in, 50% out. And if I'm in, I'm 100% in. It's a lot. It is a hard work. Email, talking to people, getting up. This week when we closed it, because we were trying to we got the invite for the tour, and we were trying to work, and then the guy took, I don't know, 3 days, and then he didn't reply. So I was like, that's not going to work, because they already had announced the tour. They just had to announce who's going to support. I was like, that's not going to work. And then the day's like, you still want it? It's like, yeah. Well, yeah. So he was like, be online. He messaged me on the WhatsApp, be online. I was like, cool, I'm online. And then we start talking. I was like, yeah. The same day they sent me the contract. I signed the contract. Of course I was talking to the guys in the band. That's happening. That's like giving everyone a loop. Then I was like, the contract's here. I signed, send it back. And then the next day they send the poster with our name.
Very good job. Will.
But it is a lot of. If you want to try to, because when you talk about scenes, the Irish scene or even the Brazilian scene is pretty much the same. You have the kind of circle that you already have a certain amount of bands in there. They're all mates. It's hard to get in.
Yeah.
Once you get in, you're in that circle. But I want to be in a circle that's outside. I want to go out and see what's gonna happen. People might not like, it might not work out. That's fine. But at least we tried, and tried hard, but we tried.
Amazing.
The only thing that I know, I'm 100% sure I'm gonna enjoy playing live a lot.
Yeah.
You did a great job, Will, to play with these bands. Wow.
Great story. We have a surprise guest. So it's a returning guest. So our guest is... Hello.
Hey guys.
So Hassan, tell a bit about yourself.
I play guitar in Neon Empire. I also